Hey y'all. This is a quick one. I had a person make a comment on one of my older videos in which
Red light, camera head.
I got a little company, so you're gonna hear some talking. But anyway, in which I had a comment on a video that I made about gaslighting 101. Gaslighting 101, how you know if you're being gaslit. And the person's comment was, what made you make this video? And I started to just respond right in that person's comment directly to them, but I decided no, instead I'm going to do a video, because I did that video a while ago. I posted it on YouTube probably a year ago, but I did the video maybe 6 months to a year prior to that. I started moving some of my TikTok videos over to YouTube. So anyway, and I'm gonna drop a link to the video so you can hear what I said. And now I'm gonna tell you what I was talking about. When I made the video, I was thinking of something specific, but it's for everything. It's for life. Specifically, I was talking about following leadership, whether it's in church, whether it's a person that you work for, whether it's
Red light, camera head.
A person that you trust, like a professor, or let's say you're in an organization such as a sorority or a fraternity, and you value the judgment of someone, or a mentor. Is someone who you respect, and some of the decisions that you're making in your life are based off of what this person is advising you on. And I said in the video, if they emphasize, don't look at me, don't look at what I do, don't judge me, I'm just a man, you do this, but don't look at me. My comment was run, because when they're telling you not to look at them, let's use a pastor for example, okay? If they're telling you not to look at them, you know, and their example in life, they're basically advising you to ignore what they're doing. Ignore what they're doing, but still follow me. Still do what I tell you to do. Still support this mission. And I use a pastor for an example, okay? And I got that example directly from my own experience. Some of the reasons that I think the way I think is because of my lived experience. I was attending a church, and it was a church in my adulthood. It was not the childhood church that I grew up in. I ended up leaving my childhood church at around 20 years old, fresh 20. It was right after I had my son. And maybe 3 years later, so I was out of church for about 3 years, and then 3 years later I started going to another church in my adulthood, separate from where I grew up. And eventually the church began to be led by a family member from the original pastor. And I have no judgment on the original pastor or whatever. I'm not even diving that deep, because to be quite honest, I wasn't in the church long enough under his leadership, but I began to be under the leadership of the son. And I was there for a while. His mom was also, you know, a leader in the church, and there was reasons that I ended up leaving that church. Just some of that talking to you like you, kind of very disrespectful, you know, very much didn't really know all of their members, but talk to them like they ran their lives. And you know, I have a sensitivity to that, because I've seen that play out in some of the lives of my family members who were long-term members of churches that you know, that ran the ship like that. Okay. So anyway, so I eventually left that church. Well, maybe a few years after that, and this would be probably in the early 2000s, I just went back to visit. And when he was preaching, he made a comment. Don't look at what I'm doing. Don't look at me. I'm just a man. Don't look at me. Look at the word. He didn't say, look at the word. You know, whatever. Well, it came out of all the scandals. Shortly after, it came, all the scandals that was going on, that he was spearheading, came out. The affairs, the disrespecting, like being all up in the marriages of people in the church, like splitting husbands from wives and taking on the wives, and it was really crazy. He had a thing that he was into, and it seemed like that was what it was. So I'll never forget, I had just heard him say, I heard it with my own ears. Nobody had to tell me that he said it. I heard him say it because I was there that day. I was no longer a member of that church, but I happened to come. Me and my husband went. And when he said it, I was initially looking at it like, yeah, we can't get caught up in just watching the preacher. We can't get up. Yeah, it's about the word. But that's not what his message was. His message was literally like, ignore what I'm doing. Ignore what I'm doing. And can I tell you, a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but I know there's still people that still support and still go. And that's still where they fellowship. And I know they got to know. If we all know, they all got to know. So what I'm saying, the reason I say it crosses over, it ain't just about church. I feel like church softens us up. I'm a Christian. I am a Christian. But church, not the word in your relationship with God. Church can soften you up for the okie doke with other type of leaders who can lead you astray. They can tell you, ignore what I'm doing, ignore what I'm doing, and keep on, just respect my office. Just respect my position. Y'all, we ain't got time for that. We cannot leave our common sense at home when we are going out into the community and doing what we do. We are allowed to even be members of certain things, work at certain jobs, because see, some of y'all work for your leaders is your supervisor, and you might have a lot of respect, and you might think to yourself, what's my supervisor? If I don't do this or if I don't do that, I won't have a job. Y'all better open your eyes and be honest with what you're seeing. Don't ignore what you're seeing, because some of these supervisors know how to use you as a scapegoat. And then you will be the one going to jail. If you know that certain things are being done illegally and unethically, you could be the one in the courtroom. And they know how to preserve themselves. So it goes all around. It goes all around. You could be in a situation. You could be in a situation where you have a professor who's over you in your grade, and you might know that what might be going on is wrong if they're abusing their authority over you. So that's why I'm saying, I know what I was talking about when I made the video years ago, but look at the world now. So many people are walking around being deceived and thinking that just because a certain person is in a certain role, we automatically got to give our loyalty to them and ignore what we all see them doing. No. So when the person asks that question, what were you talking about? Look, I don't know the reason why that person even wanted to know what I'm talking about. Probably because I left it very vague. I left it like a blanket statement. But even then, even though I knew why I was saying it, I also understood it's across the board. It's across the board. Just like I was talking about in another video that I did, I'll link that one too, about how to avoid getting scammed. It's about that too. It all goes together. Just like I said, I don't want to mention the name of the organization that I was talking about in that video, because it really doesn't matter.
Keep right
it really doesn't matter. Okay. We got to learn across the board to keep our eyes open, and that is not even about being afraid or being suspicious. It's being wise and aware. The Bible does say that if we ask God for wisdom, he will give it to us. He will give it to us. And sometimes it's an unpopular decision to move in the wisdom that God gives you, because sometimes it means you're gonna walk away from some stuff. Okay. So I wanted to answer that question. I'm going to drop a link to my answer right in that person's response, so that they can see what I have to say, because I don't want to, you know, I want to answer them. I just saw their question a couple days ago, and it's taken me until now to respond, but I wanted to make this video, and then I'll drop the link to both of the
continue straight.
The videos that I was talking about.
Keep right towards Cincinnati.
Y'all have a good one. You see, I'm on the road this morning. Be blessed, and tell me, you know, what you think. You can tell me just simply what you think about this particular video. But I also ask that you check out those videos and give me your thoughts. Have a good one.